because then we'll have still something we can share with people. Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone. Because then we'll have still something we can share with this, and then you can drop this into your channels too if you want. Cool. Welcome.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone.
One second. Here. I'm just going to drop it in our channel and then we'll get started.
Sweet. Cool. Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Here with Masa. So we're going to be doing this one podcast style. That's why you see it on our community videos channel. So yeah, definitely share this. If you have questions throughout, really want to make this engaging. So feel free to drop questions into the YouTube chat. We can take them. Yeah. So we're just going to do this podcast style. I can turn my camera on. But we're going to leave the cameras off. So for this one. But again, it's going to kind of run the same format. This is why we did on the community videos. First time we're going to do this. Wanted to do it live, and then we'll do some edits afterwards and turn it into a podcast. But then you'll just be able to see this on here. I don't know if you all are aware of ICHI, but it's a really, really cool platform that's being built. Some people. Yep, cool. So I go ahead and then Masa, yeah, whenever you're ready, yeah, then we can go ahead and.
Hey, I'm ready when you are, Keenan, and thanks for having me here.
Sweet, yeah, it's great to have you as well. Yeah, so I guess to get started, do you want to maybe just introduce yourself and a little bit about your background, what maybe motivated you to start ICHI and or be a part of ICHI and kind of help get it started and what you guys are currently building?
Yeah, sounds amazing. Yeah, so my background is I spent a number of years at Amazon.com running their different businesses and their marketplace organization. That was back in the 2013, 2014 timeframe. And like many in the space, I got a Bitcoin miner, and I started figuring out what Bitcoin was all about. But when Ethereum launched in 2015, I instantly recognized how many problems it could solve in a huge online economy like that of Amazon. I spent a lot of time dealing with payments institutions, regulators, getting money from one bank account to the next. And I've been trying to make blockchain real for business ever since. Really got excited about the space. And when we saw what was happening with DeFi and yield farming in the summer, last summer, we knew that all the pieces were in place. One of the most important pieces being these Chainlink oracles, but the next most important piece being liquidity incentives and automated market makers. And so when we thought of the design for ICHI, me and 5 other industry insiders just thought, we're going to see if we can build that in 4 weeks. We could turn it on and see if it works. And we did in mid-November. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you came from a real enterprise background. How do you think that experience kind of helped you kind of did you see some issues when you're working at like Amazon of like, wow, like maybe smart contracts can really fix this, or this is the future Amazon? Like, kind of, what was kind of like the thought process of
yeah. So anytime you're trying to solve a problem there, so for instance, take a problem like as simple as anytime you buy from Amazon, you can get a good price. Mm-hmm. But if you buy from a third-party seller, at the time, you would only get a good price 50% of the time, because that third-party seller is in a bit of a zero-sum game with the customer. Right. The more they can charge, the better for them. There's no long-term reputation for them. And so what you would do trying to address problems like that is produce neat incentives, little economic incentives within the platform for the seller to take less profit this time, but overall have a better business. And that is way more possible if everybody's holding the same scarce asset, right? If they actually own a little bit of the network, they might think a little longer term about whether or not to overcharge that particular customer. And that's just pricing. Any other things are similar, whether they're returns or fraud investigations, et cetera. There are all these different negative network effects that you're trying to solve.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so for ICHI, and here, let me share my screen for the audience too, and then we can get a little interactive as well with it. So we'll go kind of just take a look at your guys' website. So do you want to maybe kind of like just like walk me through how someone uses ICHI and kind of what your guys' goal of how?
Yeah. So you see the how does it work picture there. In 3 steps, it works just like a centralized stablecoin at a high level. So if you think of buying a USDC from Coinbase, which there are more USDC in circulation in DeFi than any other stablecoin at this point, you just pay $1. You put the dollar in their bank account. They may do things with it, they may not. But then when you're done with the USDC coin, you can turn it in for $1. So ICHI wanted to enable that same principle for decentralized stablecoin. And it's not something you can get with these algorithmic ones or the crypto-backed ones. It really provides that same mint and redeem for exactly $1 is that first principle. But also, we wanted to make it drive the scarcity of any project's cryptocurrency. So in this case, you can see that it's driving scarcity of Bitcoin. We made it drive scarcity for 5 different crypto projects so far, and many more to come. And each one of those crypto projects has to have reliable price feeds for this to work well. That's that part in the middle where you can see you pay more and more of the scarce crypto and less of the centralized stablecoin. The only way you can pay more of the the scarce crypto while still paying exactly $1 is to understand the price of that scarce crypto.
Interesting. Okay. So with like how's Chainlink kind of fit into all this? You're using it for the price feeds of, say, the USDC. So when someone mints it, to create the collateral reserve, or say for Bitcoin to create that treasury of that Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. We need prices of each of these things. So what happens in the model is you pay $1 in 2 parts, in this case, part Bitcoin and part USDC. But you get back $1, you just get back a single USDC. Like you don't get any of the Bitcoin back, it just keeps it. But the only way you know how much Bitcoin to charge somebody is to know what the price of Bitcoin is. Mm-hmm. And there might be a number of competing solutions for Bitcoin, but we're partnered with projects that might be very small, might be very illiquid, and it gets far trickier. And in those situations, without a Chainlink oracle, we might only be able to take 2% of the scarce crypto in, maybe 2 cents scarce crypto and 98 cents existing stable coin. But with the Chainlink oracle, we can do 5-10 times better with the same project.
Cool. Yeah. Sweet. So yeah, with like the docs, is there anything here that you want to kind of like walk us through that you think would be helpful for anyone that's listening in?
Yeah. Well, one of the things is the community. Well, actually, there are 2 things. The community tenants, I think, are very interesting. Mm-hmm. So we believe that every crypto community deserves their own in-house stable currency. Basically, they should be able to fuel usable money with their scarce asset, kind of like how dollars used to be backed by gold.
Right.
And they need to be able to govern their own treasury. So ICHI isn't in charge of these stable coins. In fact, ICHI doesn't even have a stable coin. But then ICHI should, you want incentives aligned, so ICHI earns as those stable coins do well. And then the last thing is ICHI does govern the allowed oracles. So, which Chainlink oracles are available for use, for instance, but also the different investment strategies that people might use with their stablecoin.
Got it. Very interesting. So
now the next interesting part. Oh, go ahead. Did you have another question on that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So the next interesting part is this win-win design section. So there were 3 categories of stablecoins when ICHI launched. ICHI is really a category of its own. So today, the other stablecoins are usually grouped between, broadly, centralized and decentralized. And then the decentralized ones are grouped between algorithmic and crypto-backed. And if you look at this table, there are downsides to every other design. Like you can get that mint and redeem for exactly $1 with USDC or USDT, but now you're basically just trusting a bank to hold your dollar and give it back to you. And you wonder why you're even doing blockchain at all, honestly. And then with algorithmic ones, you can see that everything is on chain, but you don't build this community treasury for each participating coin. It usually burns a single signage share or something like that. And everybody needs to own that signage share to benefit from any interesting economics. And then on the crypto-backed ones, you actually took on a debt position and you have to maintain it. And if the price moves against you, you may get liquidated. So ICHI really is the first design to not have any of these problems.
Right. Yeah. There's some really fascinating tokenomics that are involved with this entire system. And so,
again, it would not have worked without the Chainlink Oracle. I'm confident of that. It would have worked, but it's just not with a minting ratio where you're paying in 95+% centralized stablecoin. It's just not that interesting. So I really like what you guys are doing, and I think I hope that more and more projects participate.
Right. Yeah. So it's almost like a collateralized backed stable coin that people can use versus what you see of someone like a Tether or USDC or whatever it may be. That's, it's like, oh yeah, we have US dollars 1-for-1 back to this thing. It's people are able to put up collateral, and then in return they get a stable coin based upon whatever collateral it is that they're putting up. Do I get that right?
Right. Well, the collateral backed ones have usually held the collateral in individualized positions. Like you put your collateral there and you get stable coins out. So when you're done with the stable coins, you get back your collateral. ICHI deposits the collateral into a community treasury that they all govern. So if you can't accurately understand what that treasury is worth, somebody's going to get more than they're owed. They're going to pay less than they should, right? Or they're going to pay more than they should. It's going to be very difficult to figure out how to keep it fair, right? Mm-hmm. So now the coin itself, the stable coin, doesn't represent a claim on that treasury anymore. It just represents a claim for USDC. And that's important more for regulatory reasons. Like you can get this licensed stable coin back if you want to get out of the system and back to fiat. But the goal is not to get out of it. This enables people to stay in their favorite crypto community, transacting and using dollars and supporting that currency they like to hodl, right? So if I'm hodling Bitcoin. I don't want to sell much of it, but I might need to sell a little to pay expenses. I might as well use a 1 BTC instead of USDC.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. So, and for everyone that's listening in on YouTube, if you have questions throughout this, definitely drop them into the YouTube chat. Happy to answer those, get those asked for y'all. Otherwise, yeah. So that's really interesting. And what's kind of next on your product roadmap? Where do you guys focus on at the moment? What do you see kind of going into the future here?
Yeah, so there are two major things that we're focused on. One is reducing the development time to get a community a stablecoin, which, I mean, may seem crazy. Like we actually launch a stablecoin in as little as 3 or 4 days after hearing a community wants one and is willing to partner in that. So in a world where, there have been hundreds of failed stablecoin projects in the last few years, making a stablecoin in 3 or 4 days is pretty good. But we want to get that down to just a couple hours, and we'd really like it to be self-service. So we're working hard on some new contracts that can enable that, be audited by a top firm. And then the second piece is we're really building out a multi-chain strategy. So the community just hired a leader from IBM Blockchain to launch ICHI on Polkadot. We're also looking at 3 or 4 other level ones to really reduce gas fees and address some of the additional business use cases for stablecoins.
Very cool. Yeah. So Polkadot, exciting. A bunch of different chains. And one thing just for like the audience and myself as well. And I know that you mentioned this and just talked about this a little bit previously, but what is the real value of, like, why do we need stable coins with different token pairs? That makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, if you let's take maybe Ethereum. We'll just pick on Ethereum for a second. So if you want to do real business, it's very difficult to use ETH, right? People's cost for their time is fairly static. They all have mortgages. They all owe taxes. And if you're going to start building or scaling business, paying people in ETH is just unrealistic. They're going to submit invoices in dollars or euros or wherever the part of the world they are in. So you need a stable coin. But if you sell your ETH for a stable coin, you just made ETH worth less. And if you're holding a lot of ETH, that's not good, right? So it would be better if you used a stable coin where you needed to buy ETH to have that stable coin. And that's what ICHI enables.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So it's like a value creator stable coin for these different.
Yeah. And what happens if you buy, like, say that stable coin was designed for let's choose another one, Compound, right? So Compound's a lending platform. It uses $2-3 billion in stable coins, probably more now. And today you have to sell your comp tokens to get the stable coins to supply the US dollars, or you need to pay, you need to borrow a stable coin, right, and pay interest. But none of that value gets traced back to the comp token. It's just provided as incentive, and people have to sell it to use the platform. But if there's a one comp, then now they can still have US dollar loans, and they can, but when they do that, it makes comp worth more. And if comp's worth more, you can pay more yield to people who supply US dollars, and you can provide better interest rates to people who borrow US dollars, because of those comp incentives are just worth more. So it really does matter if you switch billions of dollars of locked value from somebody else's token to a token that supports the value of your governance coin or your scarce network asset.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is fascinating stuff. I'm curious, kind of taking a different step back, and more just generalized with your background at Amazon and some larger enterprises, and just looking at stable coins in general. Where do you see a future where, you know, I can like pay for my Amazon Prime with a stable coin, or be able to just order products online? Do you see where do you see the adoption coming from with
I do. I think there will be a few. I don't think it happens right away. I think you meant your first 10 billion stable coins in DeFi. In fact, that's already happened. We just need to convert them from centralized stable coins to decentralized ones.
Yeah.
So DeFi is where it starts. Then it makes sense that other financial systems like the securities, maybe the crypto exchanges become more formalized, and they just become exchanges. There aren't crypto exchanges and regular exchanges. They're just exchanges, right? So I think that those financial markets will probably all adopt stable coins. But then past that, I do see consumer brands doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if even individual celebrities had their own stable coin, right? And so if they could get people to buy and sell with a one LeBron, and then maybe they get a kickback from the scarce asset that is locked up when people use a one LeBron instead of a fiat dollar.
Right. Yeah. Kind of a different take with like the social tokens. That's interesting. Cool.
Yeah. So you have the non-fungible celebrity tokens now. I think you'll have fungible ones.
Yeah.
Sorry, for people who maybe don't know the term there. So fungible is when all the tokens are the same, and non-fungible is they're all kind of different.
Yeah. For everyone listening, so like non-fungible would be the NFTs. That's what it stands for, non-fungible tokens. So basically, like there's a single one of those, and it can't change. Whether like a ERC20 token, you can have multiple different tokens part of that.
But that's the way the world works today, right? So these store cards, you get a Visa card from one store versus the other. It's all a Visa card, right? The Visa network. But if you're holding one particular store card than another, you get different perks, right? So they're kind of like fungible Visa cards, but you get different perks in different places depending on which one you use. Certainly, you could do that with just dollars. In this case, stable coins. That people could provide different discounts when spending or better interest when saving based on which brand of dollar you're using.
Yeah, and the different perks. I mean, it's kind of like the airport credit cards, the airplane credit cards. And just like, oh yeah, use our credit card, and you can get some flight miles with them, and the different things that kind of are coming along. Cool. So
exactly.
Yeah. For everyone that's listening in, do you have any like ask from your community? Anything that you like to see from them and that maybe they could help you with?
Yeah. Well, ICHI, by the way, it's 100% community run. It's not my ask. In fact, I was hired by ICHI 3 months after it started, and anybody else could be hired by ICHI, the ICHI community, if they thought of a way to add value and put a proposal out. So it's been that way from the beginning. There wasn't a single token sold ahead of launch to anybody. There was no initial team cut. It's just really been a collaborative community effort. So I would ask the question the other way. Go check out what we have, find something wrong, and propose fixing it. but some of the things that I know we could do better at, we're small and we need to connect with a lot of projects. I think Chainlink is the industry leader in that. You guys have connected with more projects, met their founders, figured out how to add value, and ICHI's business model is the same. So we have to go around and meet the projects and explain what stable unit of exchange can do for their base currency and what problems it can solve for their project. So I guess that's the biggest thing that Chainlink can help provide is more of that awareness to other projects. We're both projects that sell crypto to crypto. It's not crypto to consumer. We really work partnership and integration by partnership and integration.
Yeah, that sounds great, and it's really fascinating everything that where the space is heading. Cool. And with the audience, where's the best place to follow ICHI's progress, get involved with the community, and find other people that are in the community to get involved and ask questions?
Our Telegram channel is actually the most active place. The long-running conversations tend to happen in Discord, but there aren't many of those because things happen so fast. So join in the Telegram, saying hi, asking some questions. Best way to get started. Our website, ICHI.org, has very detailed documents. So just reserving 20 minutes to read through that, and if anything doesn't make sense, go straight over to the Telegram and say, this is where I got stuck in docs, and we'll fix it.
Great. Yeah, I'll make sure to drop all those links in the description afterwards for everyone. And cool. Yeah, before I guess we wrap up here, is there anything else that maybe we didn't talk about that you wanted to mention?
Oh, no, just that I appreciate what you guys do, and you've been great to work with, and so I'll just give a kudos back to the Chainlink team. They once we told them how we were using the oracles, how we're making financial infrastructure for other projects, you guys have just been great partners. So appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic working with you, and it's always great working with innovative projects in the space that are doing stuff that sometimes are hard to understand, and then like once it clicks, it's like holy shit, like you guys are doing some groundbreaking stuff, and it's really cool to see innovators continuing to build. So definitely appreciate you all too.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Well, everyone that's listening in, appreciate it. I know this one was a little different than what we normally do, and appreciate you hanging in there with us. I'll make sure to drop all those descriptions in the link. We'll do some edits, probably repost this video, and just make it, clean it up a little bit, turn it into podcast for everyone. And for also everyone that's listening in, the Chainlink Hackathon. So that starts on Monday. Definitely sign up. It'll be a great opportunity. Don't always have to be an engineer. The best hackathon projects come from well-rounded teams, is what I always like to say. So the same thing that goes into starting a business. You're gonna need someone that's creating memes on social media and getting people excited, building a community. You're gonna need someone that's finding yourself customers, or getting data feeds for your project, and you're gonna need someone that codes it. So whatever your skills you bring to the table, definitely recommend join the hackathon. You'll meet some cool new people, get involved with people within the space, and it's always a great opportunity. So you can find that at Chainlink's website, and definitely register. Otherwise too, we're on the community channel here, so definitely subscribe to this. Usually the advocates are hosting some really cool events on here, and we have some cool meetups that end up happening. Otherwise, really appreciate everyone, and yeah, Masa, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll see everyone next time.
All right. Thank you, Keenan. Have a good afternoon.